What's up guys, Ryan here from Mudgunner, and first of all I want to say happy Halloween. I hope you had a great night or are having a great night. I didn't get to do much today, I just worked and did YouTube stuff, but that's okay. I celebrated a Halloween party a couple weeks ago. I did not impersonate a cop, that would be bad. But if I did, let's just say I wasn't carrying a real gun. And the reason for that was there's alcohol around and I think it's just good to be a responsible gun owner. Did I have the means to protect myself? Yes, but the gun in my belt was this. It's a SIG 229, even though this is a 226 size. It's stamped 229 and it's just an airsoft gun that doesn't even work. So I was responsible with my costume. And yeah, you don't want to, again, you don't want to mix alcohol and guns. It's a quick way to catch a charge. So yeah, that was what was in my holster, but everything else was pretty much real. So fun time. And yeah, that was when I celebrated Halloween. But today we're going to be talking about carrying with one in the chamber or self-defense guns with one in the chamber or not. Now, obviously you guys can argue down in the comments and tell me I do know what I'm doing or don't know what I'm doing. That's fine. I'm just giving you guys my opinion and this is how I do it. So for me, do I carry one in the chamber? Absolutely. Every single gun on this couch right now has a round in the chamber ready to go. I would have stuck more on the couch, but my dog here decided to take a nap. This is Harley. She was dressed up as a prisoner at our Halloween party, and then she had a little sweater on today that said "Creeping It Real" for work. So yeah, she's a good doggo. But yeah, with that being said, everything on the couch is chambered. All my self-defense guns in the house are chambered. So probably 20 or so guns. I know it's a lot, but it's just my personal preference. So I do believe that if you're gonna carry a gun, you should keep it around in the chamber, but you should also know how to use the gun. Okay, now I can fit more guns on the couch. If you don't know how to use the gun, it doesn't do you any good, and it could potentially cause you more harm or cause other people harm, you know, if it gets in the wrong hands or you do something wrong with it. So training is very important. Being confident with a gun is very important, and knowing how to use it. I'm not here to criticize you for carrying or don't carrying one in the chamber, or even carrying at all, right? Like I know there's people that don't carry. I'm not here to criticize you. I'm just giving you guys my thoughts and just my take on it, right? So the reason why I carry one in the chamber and I carry it every day is if you think about like a seatbelt in your car, ideally, I hope you guys are wearing your seatbelt. Maybe you aren't, but you wouldn't put a seatbelt on before a crash, right? Because at that point it's too late. You put it on in case of crashing. Same thing with guns. I carry around in the chamber in case of needing to defend myself or defend life with it. I wouldn't want to have to rack it in that scenario. Now, I'm not saying there aren't probably thousands of scenarios where you could rack it in time. I'm not saying that. They probably do happen, right? If there's a mall shooting and you're not the first target, right? You probably have time to rack your gun. But I'm not counting on that. And there's plenty of self-defense videos online where people, especially when their elevation is elevated, especially when their adrenaline is elevated. I can't believe I messed that up. But yeah, adrenaline, not elevation. They forget basic tasks. Like you see it with police officers, you see it with civilians. When your life is in danger, you forget things. And that's why shooting and just doing things in general, building that muscle memory is very important, so that hopefully in that situation, you don't have to think about it. Your body just naturally does it. So again, that's why I carry with one in the chamber. I don't want to have to worry about, well, is this a situation where I will be able to rack it or not? It's just, no. I do feel very comfortable with it. And for some people, I think they carry without one in the chamber because they're scared of the gun. If you're carrying a really crappy gun, then sure, I don't feel like I would want to stick a high point in my pants or stick a Taurus in my pants and carry it. But honestly, I feel like I could, right? Like if I had a Taurus or a high point to carry, I would stick it in my pants chambered. I don't care. If it goes off, it goes off. But just know that some of the earlier models, like the Taurus Millennium Pro series, like before the G2 and all that, they had a lawsuit because guns went off. I don't know if it was because of them dropping it or whatnot, but they were just ultimately not safe. So some of those really bad brands or cheap brands, they've had lawsuits because their guns were unsafe. So yeah, modern ones like the Taurus G2C, G3C, I haven't seen those problems, but the ones prior to that, yes, they had problems for not being safe. You can look up, it was a lawsuit because they were not safe. But I tend to carry nicer guns, like most of what's right here is Glock. I have 3 Glocks right here. I have a Shadow Systems, Ruger LCP2 for when I'm running. This isn't the holster I used while I was running. I just stuck this in my pocket the other day, but yeah, I tend to carry like nicer higher end guns, and Glocks aren't even like considered high end. Like this is a stock Glock 17. This is a stock Glock 19. This is not a stock Glock 43. And this is a stock Shadow System. So once it cools down, I keep saying that, but it's still like it was 85 degrees today in Arizona. I'm not wearing a jacket. Once it cools down, I'm gonna carry this because it has my dog's hair on it. It's my Shadow Systems MR918. It's basically a Glock 19 clone. I just shoot it better than a Glock. So I'll carry that, and it is chambered. Like, this is a safe direction now that my dog's not here. So pop the round out, and yeah, I'm very comfortable with this. It doesn't bother me. I got my first gun March of 2015, and since then I've ingrained it in my head. I mess with guns every single day at work. I shoot guns almost every single week, at least a couple times a month, but I feel very comfortable with it, and I'd like you guys to get to that point where you're very comfortable. I understand that not everyone can shoot every week or every month. I do get it, but just really try to get yourself comfortable with not being afraid of the gun, as long as you have a good quality gun, right? Not being afraid of it going off in your pants if you're carrying it that way, but yeah. None of these have thumb safeties, and they're fine. My girlfriend's gun, it has a thumb safety, but she doesn't use it. It's just hard, right? Because she doesn't shoot as much as me, she doesn't train as much as me, so I try to make it as simple as I can for her. We trained her without the thumb safety. But if she were to stick it on, I don't think she would remember in the moment. So that's something where I'm still constantly working with her, but not everyone grows the same way, right? Like, guns are not her absolute passion, they're my absolute passion. So I try to work with her on that and base it around how she wants to carry. She also carries in a fanny pack, which I'm not the biggest fan of it. We've done plenty of videos where it is so slow to draw from a fanny pack compared to an appendix holster, but that's how she wants to do it. So I'm trying to, you know, give her the leeway to do it how she wants, and hopefully, worst case scenario, if something happens, I'm there with her so that I can draw 8 seconds faster than her. But that's kind of a low blow. But no, she's good. She's got it taken care of. She carries a knife now. On a side note, I also keep my knives sharp for self-defense too. So I don't use my potential self-defense knives for box cutting, stuff like that. I don't want to dull it out. I keep them sharp. Now, at our work, we have box cutters anyway. So the only thing this thing cuts is basically tape if I have to cut a little piece of tape. But I keep my protection knives sharp too because I want it to be 100% useful in the moment if I need it. What else? Rifles. Yeah, rifles are built to be safe. ARs, they have safeties. I'm not worried if those get knocked over or dropped. And I don't have to worry about kids in this house, guys. I understand if you're a parent, you have kids around, you have to take extra precautions that I don't have to take. I still think you should carry chambered. And I mean, I've heard the stories, you see it in the news, unfortunately, when kids find parents' guns, but that's ultimately on the parents for not keeping it safe enough. If they basically found it, whether it was chambered or not, they're still at risk of shooting themselves, shooting someone else, even if it's not chambered, right? Kids are fairly smart depending on the age, right? Like, they can work a handgun. So yeah, I would still carry it chambered. I would just make sure I'm cautious, and yeah, I'm not a parent, so I can't really tell you guys what to do on that, but that's just my thoughts. And I wouldn't get rid of guns for having a kid. Like, this is my life, and it would be their life too, or they'll grow up around guns, so it'd be fine. But yeah, everything's chambered: shotgun, AR, subgun, pistols. Shotguns, I hear, are less safe if they're dropped. Now, my girlfriend accidentally knocked this one over one time and broke this front sight on here, which kind of sucks. It's not even usable with the red dot on there anyways, but yeah, the gun did not go off, safety's on. So shotguns and rifles, safeties are on. Pistols, there is no safety, so I don't have to worry about that, but yeah, safeties are on those. There is one example where I don't carry chambered, and that is in this backpack. Oh, you guys are like, oh, what? I thought you carried chambered. I've shown this backpack a bunch, and I keep something in here that I don't carry chambered. That is this. And the reason I don't carry this chambered is because it's a shotgun, and I don't want it to potentially go off in my bag, because this gets set down hard at times. It gets bumped around, tossed in my car. So yeah, if I need to get a shotgun out of my backpack for self-defense, then hopefully I have time to pump it. But there's rounds in the tube, and it holds 2+1. So I have 2 rounds of buckshot here, and then I do have more buckshot in there. Plus, this is where I store my first aid kit and my IFAK. And I do have a soft body armor panel in here as well. So I work in a gun store. This is what goes with me everywhere. And then even like traveling wise, like I went camping this past weekend. I took this up there. Now everything basically stayed in the backpack. I brought this up because it's suppressed. It's a suppressed B&T 9mm. But I also have this, which it's not suppressed, chambered though. SIG MPX. It just works, and I like it a lot. It's a good gun, and it stays in my backpack, so I just have this everywhere with me, but sometimes I'll bring extra guns. But again, the shotgun, it's not super drop safe, so I don't want to carry that chambered and have it go off setting it down, because I pick my backpack up multiple times throughout the day, taking it to and from work. So yeah, The other time when I wouldn't carry a gun chambered is when I go to work. I bring my backpack and then I always have a gun carried on me, but I also like to bring guns to show off at work. Like us employees, we bring our guns in. It's fun. It's like you bring your Pokemon cards to school, right? Like it's the same for us. We like bringing our guns to work and we just leave them there. And if we're bringing them to work to have on our rack behind the counter, obviously you don't want to keep moving around a loaded gun when there's a lot of people in the area. So what we do is I'll have a loaded mag, but I'll keep the gun empty and I'll put it on the rack. Now the mag will be either in it or near it, but we don't keep that one chambered just because it's in hands more. Basically my bag guns are chambered, my carry gun is chambered, and those don't come out, but the ARs that we bring to work or rifles we bring to work, those won't be chambered normally. So other than that, if you are not comfortable carrying chambered, but you would like to, I think ways that you can get better would be going to the range, really working the gun. You could buy snap caps and do it at home. Obviously just keep these snap caps and live ammo completely separate. Like if you're playing with a gun, no live ammo right there. Obviously you have to chamber a gun to carry it, right? So with this Shadow Systems, if I want to rechamber it, I'm just gonna rechamber it in a safe direction. So boom, and then I take the mag out, I could press check. Yep, it's chambered. So you have to be able to be comfortable doing that, and obviously you're gonna do that at home. You're not gonna do it in your car, or, I mean, maybe you do it in your car, but you're not gonna do it out in public. You're gonna do it in the safety of your home. So now that's chambered again. I'm gonna top off that mag. The other thing is eventually you wanna cycle out the main rounds that you chamber, because if you constantly take the rounds in and out of your gun, that bullet is gonna get marred up. And I have bullets that are pretty deformed. I just end up shooting them at the range. So what I do is most of my guns, I have Federal HST or Spirit Gold Dot. So this is Spirit Gold Dot, this is probably Federal HST, yep. So I have mags with both. I mainly just stick with those two brands. They're 124 or 147 grain hollow points. But yeah, I stick with those two brands just because they shoot consistent and I trust the rounds with my life. So yeah, if you constantly chamber around, just eventually just shoot it at the range. And it's always good to have extra hollow points. It's also always good to test your hollow points in your gun. I will not carry a gun until I've shot at least 500 rounds through it, plus a mag or two of whatever self-defense ammo I'm carrying. I just want to make sure it's going to be reliable. When I first got this LCP2, this is a Ruger, the first 200 rounds, it was basically a Jam-O-Matic, but I went through the first 200 rounds and then it was reliable and now it's perfect. Now this one I have the Hornady Critical Defense ammo. I also have some mags with Spirit Gold Dot, but yeah, it runs pretty good now. So everything else, yeah, 500 rounds before I'll carry it. Shotguns, I haven't put 500 rounds through this thing, but I've shot the shotguns a lot. Some ARs I shoot a lot, but I'm less worried about those. It's just if I'm carrying it every single day, I want to make sure it's going to be 100% flawless. So yeah. Other than that, I hope you guys can build your confidence. I hope most of you carry. If you don't carry and you're adamant about not carrying, comment down below with your reasons. It could turn into an argument, not with me. I'm not going to argue with you guys, but some people in the comments definitely like to argue. So again, I hope you guys had a great Halloween, and thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for my next video.